What's up, YouTube? I hope you're doing pretty well under this quarantine wherever you are. And precisely in this video, it's what I want to talk about is precisely that, the COVID-19 crisis. So, what is it exactly? Is it an economic or a health crisis, as the news are trying to portray us? Suddenly, magically, in the 21st century, we have no resources, we don't have any capabilities whatsoever to confront such a supposedly health crisis, right? But obviously, why is the economic side so important of it? Pretty much because the economies are being affected, right? And this makes me doubt a lot about exactly what is this whole COVID-19 crisis about. Exactly because, you know, we somehow know the official statistics that the number of infected is around, what is it, around 2 million, 2.5 million. And every time you watch the news outlets from, let's say, from every single country, you check their main outlets and you see the exact number of infected, the exact number of dead, etc., etc. My big question is that really true, or is that all bullshit to some extent? I would say it's kind of bullshit because I also have been reading so many articles about it that give some shocking information. I'm I'm going to talk about first about an article that has been published by many news outlets, precisely by Business Insider, BBC. I think also mentioned the fact, the famous speech of Angela Merkel, the German chancellor. She said that 60 to 70% of the German population can get infected with the coronavirus. 60 to 70%, according to these sources. And somehow we are looking at the official statistics, supposedly that they are official, and we know the precise number of infected and so on and so forth. So think about this. Don't you think that this is all about more or less an economic crisis instead of a health crisis? Aren't they forcing us to live through another crisis under the pretext that there is a pandemic that is so dangerous that can kill us all? I call bullshit for many reasons. Every year there's some sort of whether it's a flu, small pandemic, whatsoever. Every year there are mutations of viruses and so on and so forth that are causing similar effects to this. Because we know that yes, COVID-19 might be a new virus that has its own symptoms, that has its own effects, but every year there is something similar to COVID-19, but we don't see any shutdowns taking place or lockdowns taking place of the economy. So don't you think this is a coincidence that under a pretext of some pandemic that supposedly isn't that as harmful as it said because it has similar symptoms to a flu, because there were flus every single year across the globe, precisely the famous ones that were, I think it was about in 2010, at the beginning of the 2010s, where it probably was in the Middle East where there was some sort of pandemic that was, that infected a large portion of the population, but nobody apparently talked too much about it. And suddenly we have this COVID-19 crisis that forces us to be isolated. Let me mention another source. This is from a health expert. I'm going to put the links down in the description so you can read those sources by yourself. But that expert said that also something similar to what Angela Merkel said. And what does Angela Merkel and this health expert have to do with each other? Well, precisely the fact that they kind of know what is on the main side, because they have access to a larger portions of information than we do. And this health expert says that yes, more than half of the Earth's population will get coronavirus. So my main question is, are those numbers that we see in news outlets simply bullshit, or are they trying to play with us to to shut us down even more? Because we've seen the consequences, the economic consequences of the COVID-19. It's a worse crisis than in 2008, much worse, because every single bar must be shut down, every single restaurant must be shut down, shop outlets need to be shut down. Definitely, it's a much worse crisis than the financial one in 2008. So think about it, because I really like to hear opinion from other people, and you can put them comment below, and you can put them in your comments below. So if you're liking this video and you have your own opinion about COVID-19, put it down in your comments. But yeah, the way I have been tackling this is researching, building my own conclusions out of it. And I can definitely see that the whole purpose of this is not to protect our health, but the purpose of this is to cause another economic shutdown, which is going to have far more massive consequences than the crisis we have seen 10 years ago, let alone the fact that some countries haven't still fully recovered from that crisis. So whoever is responsible for all of this, has a real target. It's an economic target, not the fact that they are protecting our health. And my other question is, what is going to happen just after the lockdown is over? Are they going to force us all to put vaccines? And God knows what is there in those vaccines. Yeah, definitely. There's a huge range of argument that can take place from COVID-19. You can discuss this from so many ways. Why are they doing it? What's the purpose of it? But yeah, those articles that I mentioned about Angela Merkel and the health expert, I'll put them down below. Meanwhile, if you like this video, click like and subscribe, and I'm looking forward to see your comments and your opinions about what you think COVID-19 is. Is it really a pandemic, or is it a false pandemic with the objective of shutting down our economy? So I hope you have a nice day, and thank you for watching this video.